What's up, everybody, and welcome to At the Movies, a 91st podcast where we talk about 90s movies and some of the content that you guys love. Welcome, Jelly. Jelly, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Doing great?
Bro,
That's
are
good.
you excited about this movie?
Bro, I am. We'll get into it in a little bit, but first,
The housekeeping.
I mean, we're not going to do housekeeping. We're just going to let you know, hey, we are the 90s First Podcasting Network, so thank you for listening. And we have 3 shows. We have the 90s First Show, where we talk about the first episode of great 90s TV shows and cartoons. And then we also have our At the Movies podcast, which is this one you're listening to. We talk about 90s movies, and then also, if you go check out our other content, we have a show called The 90s First Take currently, as you'll see as you scroll through our podcast feed, but we are changing the title of that to Test Your Might. Yeah, kind of a Mortal Kombat reference to look into our video game debate show. So it's a video game debate show on the news in the video game world. So go and check that out, and also, we want to really quickly thank our patrons, especially for this episode, because this movie was very hard to find on streaming.
Nigh impossible.
It was very close to impossible. So all you patrons listening to this episode, we actually use the funds that you give us, and we were able to purchase this movie. So just to let you know, for future reference, that's kind of what our content is going to be, that's kind of what our monetization is going to be, to kind of buy these movies, these TV shows as we need to, if we can't get access to it. So
if we can't find them on a streaming service, then we're going to find them with your funds.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
You guys are absolutely providing us the ability to get the content that we're giving back to you.
Yes, so thank you once again. So patreon.com/the90sfirst if you do want to take a look into that. No exclusives there, just 4 tiers that you can subscribe to on a monthly basis to help support us. Just have general support here. So well, Jelly, let's just talk about the movie that we were able to watch here for the content. What movie are we watching today? What did we watch, and what are we talking about?
We watched arguably my favorite Jim Carrey movie of all time, The Truman Show.
Ooh, that's high praise. Your favorite Jim Carrey.
So good. Favorite Jim Carrey, barring specific comedy only movies. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll let you know that I can see it. I can see why. It's very good. Spoiler alert, is good. But Jelly,
not much of a spoiler.
Yeah, no. But Jelly, this once again is another 90s movies that
you had never seen before.
Never saw. So people listening, I'm very sorry. I feel like we don't get any comments, but I feel like if I am going to get comments, it's going to be why.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Why up until now, when you're 30 years too late, just catching this thing? Not 30, it's only been 22.
Wow.
But
do you even math, bro? Like,
all I'm saying is that we're around that 30-year mark.
Yeah, well, it's because I couldn't find it on a streaming service. So anyway, this is starring Jim Karen. Karen.
That's the one.
Yeah, this is starring Jim Carrey, Ed Harris, Laura Linney, Noah Emmerich, just some pretty famous actors. And basically, here's the bumper. An insurance salesman discovers his whole life is actually a reality TV show. So, Jelly, can you take us into that bumper just a little bit more as an elaboration? Is that a word? Yeah, that is.
Bro, I don't even know what a bumper is.
A bumper is basically just what the show is.
Synopsis, real quick. Storyline. Since birth, Big Fat Lie defines the well-organized but humdrum life of the kind-hearted insurance agent Truman Burbank. Truman has been the star of a show that he has no idea he's part of for 30 years.
Yeah.
in which not only has he done all of the normal boy things, gone to the bathroom, all of this on film,
No.
unedited, uncut.
I didn't even think of that. Come on, dude.
Yeah, gross, right? But he's had his high school days in there. He's had his relationships in there.
Yeah.
He's had his marriage in there. And up until now, no family. But everything else has been live for the audience, all taking place inside the this giant dome that encompasses all of Hollywood.
Well, yeah, and then then he
Essentially.
starts, kind of figuring it out a little bit, and that's why there is no family, because she's legit an actor.
We jump in right as he starts to question his world, and then put all of his theories to test.
Yep.
We are introduced to him as he begins that journey of what the freak is going on.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Truman Show basically, it's manipulation at its finest. So they're trying to have a reality TV show, and to be honest, it seems like a promising concept until obviously he starts being a critical thinker. Like, if you think about it entertainment wise and TV wise, like, it's not a bad concept, but it's
if
still
someone volunteered for it. Sure.
Yes, exactly. But this, I mean, we come to find out that Truman was put into this situation because he had a mother that didn't want him, and so the mother gave birth, and here's this baby who Truman shows up in this secluded island dome. What is it? Sea Haven Island?
Sea Haven.
Yeah, Sea Haven Island, where he visibly has no escape, and we can kind of get to this in a little bit, but he has no escape because of manipulation, because of the way they are trying to create this TV show, broadcasting to the entire world,
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes from the movie is about that. It's Christoph saying, "We accept the reality of the world which we're presented." Simple as that. That's the direct quote, and I think it's true, and it's manifested in the existence of all of this. He has accepted, even with all of the intrusions and the different things that, if you were thinking critically and looking at everything around you all the time, you would question, but he doesn't, because it's just another day in his life. It's just another day where the same kind of things happen each and every day, and there's these weird product placements that don't make any sense, but he just goes with it because it's happened every day of his life. He doesn't know better. It's amazing, but it's absolutely manipulation at its finest.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, what really kind of sticks Truman into this path to figuring all this out is that he starts to have this innate concept as a human being that you want to explore, that you want to go out, that you want to do things, when in reality, in his reality, in Truman's reality, he's literally doing the same exact thing every single day. He's getting up, he's brushing his teeth.
Yes, exactly.
He's going to work, he's kissing his wife goodbye. She's taking her bicycle as a nurse to a fake hospital. She's not a nurse.
To do surgery.
And he just starts getting this feeling and understanding that he wants to do something with his life other than the mundane that he has been doing.
They drive at that he's had that explorer personality since he was young, and they had to they had to basically learn it out of him. They had to do things and put obstacles in his way to drive that explore adventure aspect from him as a person, and it worked. I mean, pretty well up to a point, and that point is he sees a homeless man that looks like his dad, who's supposed to be deceased, and then his it triggers something in him, and he goes, what is going on? What was that was that my dad? Was that, like, it's been a long time, but what? And so, yeah, I think that they did a really good job of getting rid of that adventurer, explorer. There's more to my world than the town I was born in. For a long time, they quelled that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they got rid of it, but they definitely just quieted it down until it wasn't really there. Or
Yeah.
He didn't notice it. And then we jump in right when he's kind of like, hold on.
Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, I mean the whole situation with his dad just like extremely crazy. It just kind of sees this homeless man, just like out of the blue that kind of looks like his dad. But it's really not.
Are you my dad?
But it's really not his dad. And I mean, I guess the moral of that story there was that his dad passed away. They in the TV we find out that in the TV show they had to write his dad out of the script basically, because Truman as a young child was also getting those feelings of wanting to explore, wanting to get off this island, and so they created a plan to get Truman absolutely freaked out about crossing water, even on a bridge,
That would work.
You think it would work?
Absolutely. You take a child who's maybe 12.
Yeah.
And then literally they have to watch their dad die in front of them, quote unquote. He didn't really die. Everyone listening.
Yeah.
Family friendly.
Spoiler
They have
alert.
to watch their dad die in front of him in a boat, drowned in the water when there's nothing he can do. Traumatized for life. Absolutely. That is a real trauma that they inflicted upon this person.
What's
child labor laws are
crazy,
nothing compared to that.
Right? which is crazy because it was a complete manipulation. It wasn't something that like it wasn't something that was just coming out of the blue. This was manufactured, and
oh yeah, set up completely.
And this is the very beginning of when like what I think is truly the strength of the Truman Show, and that is that I mean the fact that
What's up?
Look at when I put my hand right there, the sun. Just,
Ooh.
whoa, hello.
For everyone listening, you should watch the video version of this because it's entertaining.
Hello. Anyways, so like, product placement and everything aside, this is the commentary of what the Truman Show is that, we as a society are kind of easily manipulated where, we're shown propaganda, we're shown certain things. And especially in this age of social media, I mean, this was created in the 90s. And they're using real life events to manipulate a child, to manipulate a kid, and also using paid actors and everything to manipulate him as an adult as well. Like you're insane if you don't think it's happening a little bit to you, with like news and commercials and stuff. Like why do
no
why do beer
Surely
commercials
not.
why do beer commercials or like Manscaped commercials have like these very attractive girls or like football parties that just it's just
that can't be real. They're
No.
not really doing any of this to us. We're not being manipulated by social media or by the stuff that we watch on TV or listen to.
No, exactly.
You guys listening, we're not manipulating you.
No.
But everyone else is. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's commercials. That's exactly advertising, all of it, marketing. There's an industry that generates billions, if not trillions of dollars that literally relies on the manipulatability of people. Yeah. How pliable are we? Can they bend us to their will? And most people, yeah. I mean, we're all susceptible at some level to be manipulated, and we're all not only susceptible, but we openly welcome manipulation when it suits us. Yeah. We're always looking for something. And if a product, Mococo delivers on that, because it's grown on the south-facing slopes of Nicaragua. Right. Yeah. I mean, we are susceptible to that. Yeah. It takes real life things and puts them into a movie about real life things, quote unquote. Yeah. So it's real. It's
Yeah.
absolutely real.
Mhm.
We see it every day. But yeah, for a movie made in 1998 to do such a good job, not even having social media to go off of, not even understanding that would be a thing at that point in
Yeah.
time in 98. I mean, no, there was no social media. The internet was new.
Yeah. I mean,
So
you could, I like translate that to today. You can literally create a bubble of kids that do not have a concept of critical thinking yet, and you can give them access to certain social media accounts, and completely fabricate all of it on there, and this person will believe it. This person, these
we
kids,
call those middle schoolers.
these
They
kids,
exist.
these kids would 100% believe that is their reality. And so I think despite it being a 90s movie, how contemporary the Truman Show is, it's actually mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So relatable.
Oh, yeah.
Transferable to today's marketplace, to do today's culture, to today's everything. It just, I mean, it transitions beautifully into
Yeah.
what we deal with every day. Literally logging, it's in our hands all the time.
Yeah.
Mine's right here in front of me.
Yeah.
It's right here. Social media, everything that we do, we are absolutely being manipulated.
Yeah.
Is the best word.
Let's call it what it is. Moving along, Jelly, I don't know if it's just me or what I believe is another strength of this movie is that I'm a huge horror film and a huge thriller film fan, and this kind of started becoming like a thriller, right?
Yes,
I think
absolutely did.
I truly believe that, and I think that's why, like, I don't normally stay up watching movies. Like but I was stuck to my chair when I was finishing it the other night. Like, I usually fall
Good.
asleep, but I mean, I was in my desk chair, so I was like, okay, I could get comfortable in this chair right here. I was watching it on my TV right here, and I was enthralled. I was super ecstatic about it, you know?
Yeah, it turns into a suspense thriller.
Yeah.
From the moment we realize that he knows something's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and his figuring it out turns into a suspense for sure. It leaves that realm of comedy, drama, dramedy, and goes right, perfectly into this suspenseful kind of what is going on. I need to figure out the nature of my existence.
Mm-hmm.
And during that entire time, we have this awesome, suspense thriller that they gave us inside a dramedy movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really do think it's the strength of it all. Having those thriller suspense type moments really bring it in, and obviously one of those is Truman's true love interest, Stacy, right? Is start with an S. Sylvia, yes, I think it was Sylvia. Yes, I think you are correct. No,
Yeah,
Lauren.
Sylvia, though, it was, because she's Lauren and she's Sylvia. She played the actress in the show, and then her real life counterpart, not the actress who actually played her, but so she was Lauren and she was Sylvia.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, she is another person who kind of added a wrinkle to this, when he was in his college years, right, or his high school college years, something like that.
Just after high school into the college years, he had fallen in love with her, and then they needed a different person. They needed ratings.
Yeah, so they kind of fabricated this other girl to eventually become his wife, and Yeah, I thought it was pretty. I thought it was pretty interesting that once he tries to, or sorry, rather, once he figures out that there's something going on here, he kind of starts putting that piece together as well. That Lauren Sylvia in the show was actually right when she tells him like, hey, this is all a fabrication. You're not really Truman. You're being filmed. That type of thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I think I like that. I like that part of it, that he's starting to figure out some of the pieces, and then you see him going through that photo album with his wife and his mom, and he sees that Mount Rushmore. Did
Yeah.
you see how fake that Mount Rushmore was? And he's like, "Oh, that
Surely not CG.
he's like that looks kind of tiny." It's like. Just
Yes.
some of the beats to
be,
this movie is really cool.
To be fair, I've been to Mount Rushmore, and from where you can take pictures near it, can't get close enough to where it looks big.
Yeah.
So
It's still a mountain, though.
Even though
it still looks super fake.
Yes. And then, yeah, the photo of him and his wife on their wedding day in her wedding dress after the ceremony, or right after the ceremony,
Yeah.
or during the ceremony, and she got her fingers crossed. Like, haha. Also, come on. I mean, fingers crossed? Really? How old are we? 10? She's got her fingers crossed, because this marriage doesn't count. Fingers crossed, that doesn't count.
No, I thought what was in the image was actually that her wedding ring was on her right ring finger and not her left.
No, it's the fingers crossed thing.
All right, you're wrong. Watch it over again. I'm calling you out.
I literally just finished watching it right before we recorded.
I'm gonna call you out on that. Just pay
listeners weigh in here.
Go back to that scene.
Are you with Mike or are you with Joe?
Go back to see that scene, and you will see that the ring was on the right ring finger instead of the left. You will notice.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I mean, yeah, the fingers crossed thing is also a thing. If she was doing that
there
too.
We go.
I mean,
if she was doing that, come on now.
I didn't see it. So, but I trust it. I trust your judgment. But it came down to Truman does eventually, kind of figure out everything. Really, he comes up with this plan to escape. But this plan, Jelly, has to come over his fear, right? He has to overcome his biggest fear.
He's got to overcome the childhood trauma of watching them murder his dad in front of him. Let's just phrase it like that for a minute.
Yeah.
And yeah, he is forced to overcome this fear that he has struggled against his entire life, that we see earlier in the movie. He's driving over the bridge with his wife in the car. A hilarious scene. I encourage you guys to watch this movie so you can enjoy it. But he won't even open his eyes to drive across the bridge. He asks for his wife's hand, doesn't say what it's for, grabs her by the wrist, puts her hand on the wheel, and just floors it. Just floors it, eyes closed, so he can go over water, because he's so terrified, so traumatized to go over water, to be on water, quote unquote, that he can't do it.
No.
So he takes his wife's hand and he freaking makes her steer so they don't drive off the bridge and die.
Right.
But yeah, he's got to overcome this fear that has been instilled in him by circumstances out of his control.
Yeah.
And he does, and then he encounters almost a worse fate when creator of the show, Christoph in the Moon, essentially tries to kill him.
Yeah, it was
question mark.
It was pretty interesting because like I was thinking about that. Like I had this gut feeling that he would have never killed Truman, because I mean, let's be honest, Truman has made him boatloads of money.
Oh yeah, I don't think he would have intentionally done it.
Yes,
he got to the point of he lost sight of the goal beyond the situation.
Yes, exactly. I agree with that. And it was like you said, it was kind of almost to the brink of him killing his biggest asset in Truman, which is pretty interesting. Um, you know,
There are some great quotes, by the way, from that moment in this movie that Christoph says to him about, he asks, why did you do it? But the network execs during the scene go, for God's sake, Chris, the whole world is watching. We can't let him die in front of a live audience. And he says during this whole thing, he was born in front of a live audience. Like,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe we can.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, like he could actually do, like, that's when you're like, maybe he's going to go through with it.
Yeah.
So sketch. I don't know about that, but super sketch. And then right after that, the first encounter that we have between Truman and Christoph is at the end of the movie. Right after this scene where he almost kills him in the ocean. Well,
yeah.
Quote unquote ocean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he my dog in the background is thirsty. Truman asks Christoph, the voice that you can hear throughout the dome, who are you?
Yeah.
Says, I'm the creator of a television show that gives hope and joy and inspiration to millions.
And you're the star.
Then who am I? Exactly right. He says, you're the star. And then directly after that, was nothing real?
No.
And Christoph says, you were real. That's what made you so good to watch. So in this moment, with this build-up, and when you watch the movie, you get this sense of almost father figure for Christoph to Truman. Throughout the entire movie, you get the sense of he is the father that Truman never had. He has been there for everything. He has existed, ethereally outside of it, but still been there and been a part of every single moment.
Yeah, I mean, controlling
life.
Controlling all he wants. He, in a sense, has love for Truman. Right? I mean, absolutely.
You think, and I thought so too, up until that moment. In the end, when he's given the choice of be the father figure and say, say what you need to say, which is, I love you, I care for you, I've been like a father to you, or you've been like a son to me, something that shows that he has a heart. And he misses it, and he totally falls on his face because he says, that's what made you so good to watch.
Yeah.
In a moment where he could have, if this movie was going in a different direction, that's where it would have been, that he would have said, you've been like a son to me, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. He says, you were so good to watch, and you understand just the kind of person that Christoph is and exactly where the rest of the movie is going. And even after that, he tries to pull at Truman's, emotional, heartstrings on a level that he doesn't understand, which, leads to another quote of, I've watched I know you better than you know yourself.
Yeah.
Christoph says, and Truman says, you never had a camera in my head, which is, I think the at least for me, is the moment when it turns from dramedy, kind of suspenseful, into a meaningful film. And one that has more meaning, because even though you see everything that has happened in his life, and I think this is the thing that hits me on the outside world, outside of all this stuff, even though you see something that people are going through, everything that people are going through, whatever, you never know what's going on in their head. And I think that has huge, huge implications of, more real. Nothing could be more real than that we can take from this.
Yeah, Jelly. I mean, you're spot on. I mean, what happened kind of at the end of the film is it became meaningful. It was a person who did not want to be controlled anymore, and a person who wanted to control still.
Yes.
And, it's this kind of God complex, right? That, Kristoff was standing up on a throne or whatever, up on a hill.
Absolutely.
And he wanted this to be, I mean, he might have had good intentions in some cases. Who knows?
I think in the beginning, maybe when he was, saving a baby.
Yeah, maybe. But, at the end of the day, it came down to Truman just wanting to be his own self. And ultimately, I think the word meaningful is a good choice, because this movie gives you the lesson that not only are humans not easily manipulated, in the sense that I should say not easily controlled for a long period of time. You cannot control human beings for 30 plus years. Like, I mean, they're gonna figure it out eventually. And second, nor should you. Like, this is not something that you should be doing. And in a sense, I think this is a good lesson for us younger fathers. In the sense of fathers to younger children, let your children be their own self, as well as don't control it so much that you negate the relationship. Because you said it great right there, and it was in the movie as well. Jim Carrey's character Truman says, "Well, you didn't have a camera in my head." And that's ultimately probably the lesson that I'm going to take away from this movie, is that despite all this controlling and everything, there was no true relationship. So, like, with people, I want true relationships. With my sons, I want true relationships. I don't always want to be the camera in his head, but I want to know what's going on with my sons, that type of thing, emotionally and mentally.
You care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the difference is that you care. You are truly a father, which means that you love your kids, you respect them, and you care about them. And that's something that Kristoff never had for Truman. He was always just an asset, just something. He was never a person.
Yes.
He was never Truman to him. And while everything that Truman experienced was real, nothing was reality. Everything was made. He existed inside of a false reality. He existed inside of a world that wasn't real. So you can have as much real as possible, but when everything in your life is a lie, what is real? I mean, it's so relative at that point that it doesn't even matter that everything that he has experienced for 30 years that has been real to him, every relationship he's had, every friendship he's had, his mother, his father before he drowned, everything for him was real. And it makes it so much worse that everything real for him was manipulated and placed there.
Was actually fake.
And wasn't real on the side. His best friend sits on a pier, says another person's words to him, and says, "I would never lie to you, Truman."
Yeah, and he's lying the whole time.
To his face. It's so disgusting. The moral, the morals tested. The moral dilemmas shown in this film, I think, are so black and white, but here they're shown in the grayest and murkiest of ways. Because even the first, his true love, Sylvia Loren, had they chosen her to become his wife, how long would she have played along with it?
Yeah.
Would she have done all the way through?
Yeah.
Because we only know that she told him because, well, she cared about him.
Yeah.
And then they got her off.
Would and then essentially, and they play that so well too. They have that scene where they're in the library, and they kind of play it off where, she's supposedly the girlfriend of a boy who will not let her go, like who has kind of ensnared her. But in reality, what it is that she believed that Truman should have the opportunity to live his own life. And so essentially she was getting fired. she got fired.
Yes.
She
absolutely got fired.
She got fired. That you just got this sense that and that's where that affinity towards Fiji was, because Truman wanted to go to Fiji this whole time, and her fake dad comes over to stop them, having a date on the beach, says, "Hey, we're going to Fiji."
Yep. And then from then on out, the rest of his life
wants to go to Fiji. All right. So Jelly, the Truman Show, great lessons. We've already talked about it here. 5 out of 5. What do you got on a scale of 5? What are you giving this?
I've got 5 moon light beams out of 5 moon light beams.
Okay.
For those who haven't watched the movie, go watch it and you'll understand.
That moon did kind of look like the Death Star, didn't it? There's just like
a little bit,
just slightly. I will
when they start shooting the light beams out, that's just a laser beam destroying a planet.
Yes. I will give this 5 cameras out of 5. I do believe you are not wrong. This is a strong case for Jim Carrey's best movie. Definitely a strong case. So I'm glad that I finally have seen it. And it has it definitely exceeded my expectations. I certainly enjoyed it. So
that's what I like to hear.
Yes. Listeners, if you're listening to this, please go check us out on our socials. We are at the 90s First on everything, including our Patreon. So Patreon at the 90s First. So
if you want to help us get this content,
yes. So
by all means, donate what you want.
So if you are listening to this, make sure that you subscribe on any podcasting platform that you are listening to. I believe we're everywhere, as well as you can leave a review, comment, talk to us on our social medias. Let us know how we're doing, and stay tuned for this next Tuesday as we dive back into video game podcasting with our first Test Your Might episode under that name, Test Your Might. And then as well as we'll see you guys next week Friday or Saturday on Beverly Hills 90210. So Jelly, you ready to sign off?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right.
Everyone, thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Adios, everyone. Bye.